Hi friends, today I would like to discuss another important concept from C language, that is dynamic memory allocation. Okay, this concept is all about how you create arrays, structures dynamically. So this concept is based on pointers. So if you know the pointers concept, this dynamic memory allocation method is very easy. Okay, first of all, what is the story behind this dynamic memory allocation? We know that whenever we create a variable or an array or a structure, so that will be a static memory allocation. That means we need to fix what is the size of the array. So you cannot increase or decrease the size of static array. So what is that? So I'll show with an example. If I declare an array something like this, int a with the size 10. Okay, so this means A is an array where I can store 10 elements. So the indexes are from 0, 1, 2 and so on until size -1, that is 9. So that means in A I can store only 10 elements. So later in the program, if I want to decrease the number of elements, that means I want to store only 5 elements. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. All the remaining 5 elements memories get wasted. You cannot remove this memory because the size of the array is fixed statically. That means before the execution, that means during the compile time, you cannot decrease the size. So half of the memories get wasted. Half of the memories get wasted. So this is one case. Okay, and another case is, so later in the program, if I want to store or if I want to increase number of elements, that means if I want to store some 20 elements into this array, so previously I have declared size as 10, I cannot accommodate extra space for remaining 10 elements. So this is also not possible. So out of all these, so what are the important points is, you cannot decrease the size of the array, you cannot increase the size of the array during execution. So whatever you want to fix, what is the size of your array, that should be done during the compile time only. That means you need to fix the size statically. You cannot increase or decrease dynamically. So that's why this particular concept came into the picture, that is a dynamic memory allocation. Or dynamic memory management. So dynamic memory management. So what is this dynamic memory management? So with this dynamic memory management, you can dynamically increase or decrease the size of the array or structure during execution of the program. So how can you do this? So this dynamic memory management is available in a special header file called stdlib, stdlib.h. So whenever you are trying to use this dynamic memory management and their related functions, you need to include this header file, stdlib, standard library header file, in your program. Okay, so that is one important concept. Okay, so what are the predefined functions that are available in dynamic memory management? So there are 4 functions available in this. 4 functions. Okay, so the first one is malloc, and second one is calloc, and third one is realloc, and fourth one is free. Okay, so these are the 4 predefined functions in this header file called stdlib.h. Okay, so this is the header file and this has got these 4 functions, definitions and declarations. Okay, what is this malloc? Malloc is a shorthand notation for memory allocation. Calloc is a shorthand notation for contiguous allocation. Realloc is a shorthand notation for reallocation of memory. Freeing is a freeing of a memory. Okay, so we'll discuss each and every function, what are their properties and how to use these functions in your program. Okay, so I'll start with the malloc. So malloc is a predefined function which will allocate the specified amount of space as a contiguous, as a single block. Okay, malloc is a predefined function which allocates the specified amount of a space as a single block. Malloc is known as memory allocation. Memory allocation. It reserves specified amount of space as a single block. And another important thing is, and all elements are initialized to garbage values. Okay friends, so what do you mean by this is, if I create an array with malloc, if there are 10 elements I want to store in this particular array, so all the elements, the initial values will be garbage values. Okay, so this is a malloc. Okay, so syntax. How to declare this particular malloc function is cast type star malloc size. Okay friends, this is the syntax rule. Syntax rule. Okay, so what do you mean by this a cast star? Okay, what is the use of this, or why you need to write this? Okay friends, we know that there is a concept called typecasting. Typecasting means you can convert one data type into another data type. Why we are using this typecasting here with the malloc function is, so malloc function will reserve the specified amount of a space as a single block and returns the starting address of the first byte. But that address is a void type address. Okay friends, I'm once again repeating that. Please remember, this malloc function returns the address of the first byte as a void address. A void address means it is not associated to any kind of a data type. So if I want to store an integer values into that block of memory, I need to cast that address into integer type. So if I want to store characters into that block of memory, I need to cast it as a char star. So that means you have to perform the typecasting for this malloc function. Otherwise you cannot store values into that block. So that's why you need to use this a cast type. Okay, so this, what is this size? This size can be the amount of bytes that you want to store. Okay, I'll write some example statements for this syntax. For example, if I want to use integer values, so I have to write it as int star malloc. If I write 10 here, so 10 bytes of space will be reserved and the starting address of the first byte is returned. Okay, so this is one way of specifying malloc. There is another way like this. Int star malloc. Okay, if I want to store 5 elements into the block, then I can write 5 star size of int. This is another way of writing malloc function. So how you have specified this size is with some number multiplied with size of the data type. So since I want to store the integer values, so in typecasting I have to use int star, and as well as I need to apply the size of the integer. So this is how you have to specify. So if you are not specific with or not sure of what is the value of the number of elements, then you can ask for the number of that element size of the array, and you can get it into the an n value, and you can multiply that n value with the size of integer. This is how you have to do this. For characters, you can simply write it as char star malloc sum 20. So this is very easy, friends. There is no need to use the size of char, because the size of the character is 1 byte. You can directly give that number. So this means this particular statement will reserve memory block of size 20 bytes, where you can store 20 characters into that block. So this is how you can do this. Like for integer, characters or float, whatever the data type, you can use this malloc and you can reserve your specified amount of space. So this is about malloc. So in case of integer values, you will have a garbage values. Okay, friends. So now let's show a small program where you can use this malloc function. Okay, with some example program. Since I am using this malloc function in my program, so I have to include a special file called stdlib.h, and as usual I have to include stdio.h to use all the functions like printf, scanf and all those things. So I want to create an integer array, friends. So I want to declare a pointer of integer type, int star p. Okay, and I want to use a for loop, so I want to declare that loop variable as I. I want to store 5 elements into my array, so I can write it as a 5 star size of a integer. That allows me to store 5 elements into my array. Okay, friends, so whenever you apply this malloc function, you have to perform one thing. So you are not sure whether that particular space is allocated for you or not. Sometimes because of lack of memory or lack of free space, the memory or the particular array is not created. In that case, if this malloc function is unable to allocate any space for you, that will return a null value. So you need to check whether your space is allocated. So the immediate statement after this particular malloc function is, you need to check for the memory allocation. If p is double equals to null, that means if the memory is not allocated, that will return a null value. If p is double equals to null, so that means your array is not created and you cannot continue. So you need to close the program. So for that I will print some message to the programmer, that printf allocation error or memory is not allocated on the screen, and I try to close the execution of the program with the exit function. Okay, friends, when your memory is not allocated, so this will get executed because it returns the null value, null equals to null, true, and that means you are closing the program. Okay, friends, if the memory is allocated for this, so the size of integer is 2 and 2 into 5 means 10 bytes. So it allocates a 10 bytes of space where I can store 5 elements. Okay, and it returns the address of the first byte to the pointer p. So that means p is pointing to here. Okay, friends, in the successful allocation of memory, so this p will receive an address. So this particular if statement checks that your address equals to null. So address equals to null means false. So it does not execute. So if it does not execute means we are not exiting from the program. So we will continue with the rest of the program. So what I have to do, I have successfully created my array. Now I want to store values into my array. So for I is equals to 0, I less than size of my array 5, I plus plus. Okay, so what I want to do is star of p plus I is equals to I plus 1. And I want to find the sum of my all the elements. So for that I want to declare a variable called sum here. So I am just making it as a sum plus equals to star of p plus I. Okay, I'm just printing the sum value. Printf sum equals to percentage d sum. Okay, and finally I want to free my memory, so free of p, return 0, close. Okay friends, I'll tell you how this particular for loop will get executed. So I have declared a variable called I and initially assigned to 0, and I have taken the variable sum, and sum is also initially taken as a 0. So for I value 0, 0 less than 5 true, so will come here. So here this becomes a star of p plus I. So what is the star of p plus I? The value at index is 0. So I am storing a value I plus 1, that means 0 plus 1 into that particular index 0. So index 0 will get the value 1 because I is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. So I am putting a 1 here. And at the same time I am calculating the sum also. So what is the sum? Sum is expanded as a sum equals to sum plus star of p plus I. So sum equals to, sum is initially 0, so 0 plus star of p plus I means star of index 0. So what is the value at index 0? That is 1. So now my sum will become 1. So this 0 will be override with a 1 now. Okay. Next, for the next round, 0 will become incremented to 1 for the I value, and this 1 less than 5. So now I am putting star of p plus 1, and the value is, already I value is 1, so 1 plus 1 means 2 here. So the element 2 is stored into the index 1. Now I am finding the sum value. So what is my sum value? Sum equals to, the previous value of the sum is 1 plus star of p plus I. P plus I means 1 now. What is the value in the index 1? That is 2. So that is 1 plus 2, that is equals to 3. So my sum will become a 3 now. And I is again get incremented. So I will become 2 now. So 2 less than 5, true, again will come here. So at the place of a p plus 2, that means index 2, will put the value of I plus 1. What is the I value now? That is 2, and plus 1 means 3. So at the index 2, we'll store a value called 3 now. Now my sum value will become sum equals to the initial, the already stored the given the value is 3. So 3 plus, now what is the value in the index 2? That is 3. So 3 plus 3 is equals to 6 now. Okay, so my sum value will become a 6 now. Again I is incremented, that is 3. 3 less than 5 is true, and here into the index value 3 will store the previous value plus 1. What is the previous value plus 1? That is a 3 plus 1, or I value plus 1. I is a 3 plus 1, that is equals to 4. Okay, now the sum value is, already the sum is 6 plus the new value into the index 3 is 4. So which will become a 10 now. So sum has become a 10 now. And I is again incremented and it become a 4 now. So 4 less than 5 is true, and into the index 4 we are storing I plus 1, that is a 4 plus 1 value, that is equals to 5. And now the sum is, already the sum is 10 plus the new value at index 4 is 5. So the sum has become a 15 now. So sum has become a 15. Again I is incremented as a 5. 5 less than 5 is false. So we come out of the for loop. Now I am printing the sum value. So output for my program will become sum equals to 15. Sum equals to 15. And look here friends, this is another important statement in my program, that is a free p. Okay, I have already told you that there are 4 predefined functions in the dynamic memory allocation. That is malloc, calloc, realloc and free. That fourth one, that is a free function, is used to deallocate the memory given for the array. That means in C language there is no automatic deallocation of the memory. So whatever the memory that we have dynamically allocated for the pointer should be manually deleted by the programmer. So for that we have to use the function called free. So free pointer name p. Okay, so the syntax for free method is free and pointer name. So this will free the memory allocated for the array, that is p. So you need to manually deallocate. So what happens if I forgets this free of p. So when you forget this, actually the memory is allocated from a heap. The memory is allocated for the pointer is still given to the p only, and if you closes the program of the program execution, still your p is available in the heap and occupies that space, and that space is never freed. So you cannot take that memory as a free memory. So for that you have to deallocate the memory manually by using this free method, so free function. So this is a program for a malloc. Okay friends, so the next function from the dynamic memory allocation is a calloc function. Calloc means a contiguous allocation, or you can call it as a calloc. Okay. Okay, what is a calloc? Calloc is a contiguous allocation. It will reserve the specified amount of a space in terms of number of blocks where each and every block is interconnected, and it returns the starting address of the first block to you. So that address is a void address. And another important point is here all the elements are initialized to zeros. You can use this calloc, the best suitable function to create arrays. So calloc. It is called as contiguous allocation. It reserves specified amount of space as a set of blocks which are interconnected and returns the starting address first block, the starting address of first block. Remember friends, that address is a void address. And another important point is all the elements are initialized to 0. That is another. Okay, now I'll show you the syntax for the calloc function. Syntax. Cast type star calloc size comma size of data type. Okay friends, here you can clearly see that the calloc function is taking two parameters. One is size of the array and another one is size of the data type. Okay, example for this is int star calloc some size 10 comma size of integer. Okay friends, in this example this will create an array of size 10. You can use it for the character type also. So char star, so calloc 20 comma size of char. So you can use it for any kind of a data type friends, but remember that calloc function is taking two parameters, whereas malloc is taking only one parameter. Okay, now I'll show you an example program where you can use this calloc function. So this same program can be converted as an example for the calloc. So that means instead of malloc we can use a calloc. So what is calloc? Sometimes people will call it as a calloc. That means a contiguous allocation. Okay, instead of malloc I will use a calloc. Okay, I'll tell you what are the differences that happens when you use a calloc here. So malloc can be called as a calloc, and the size of the array can be specified as a two parameters. Here the first one is number of elements and second one is the size of the data type. So you can see that I have removed that star and written it as a separate two parameters: size of the array, size of the data type. So this is a one important change in the program when you write it for the calloc. Okay friends, so what happens when you use this calloc? So the same thing happens. It will create an array or a block of memory where you can store 5 elements. That means for 5 elements, size of integer is each element will take 2 bytes. So 5 into 2 means you have to have 10 bytes. So calloc will allocate a 10 bytes of space. So what is the difference between the malloc and calloc is, calloc will have different blocks. That means malloc has given you a single block of memory. Maybe calloc will give you different blocks of memory and all those blocks are interlinked together. So and it returns like same as the malloc, it returns address of the first block and given to the pointer p, and you need to apply this casting and int star. Okay, and what is another important concept here is, when you use a calloc, all the elements are initialized to 0. That means before storing the values into this array, all these elements will be initialized to 0. That means all the 5 elements will be having initial values as zeros, and the rest of the program is the same as the malloc. So you can create the array, you can put the elements and you can use them to find whatever the logic you want to implement. So here once again I am just repeating here is the difference between a malloc and calloc. Malloc, in case of malloc, a single block of memory is allocated. Okay, in case of calloc, there may be a number of blocks are allocated and each and every block is interlinked. And malloc will have the initial values as garbage values, whereas calloc will have the initial values as a 0. So that is the primary difference between a malloc and a calloc. And in case of calloc also you need to apply the free, because if you are not forget to do this freeing of space, that space is gone. That means you cannot use that space. Remember friends, whenever you are using a malloc and calloc, you have to free the memory at the end of your program. See the third function from this memory management, so that is a realloc. Okay, so realloc means reallocation of the memory. So that means when we have already created an array or a structure and later we want to change its size, you can use a realloc function which allows you to increase or decrease the size of the already created array or a structure. Okay friends, the realloc function is basically if I increases the size of the array, so the previous values which are stored in the array, they are not changed. That means whatever previous values in the array, they are unchanged and the extra space is added to you. Sometimes this particular new block of memory that is allocated, that will be taken from the new location. Okay, we'll see an example program where we can use this realloc. So now I'll show you the syntax for a realloc. Look here friends, this is the syntax. So the syntax is a pointer is equals to realloc, and it is having two parameters. One is the pointer itself, comma, a new size. Example. For example, there is a pointer called p, so I have to write it as realloc p, comma, a new size. New size means, so that can be, if there are 5 elements, so I'll write it as a 5 star size of integer type. So that will create an array with 5 elements. So if this is in case of a character kind of an array, so I can write it as some p1 is equals to realloc p1 comma 20. So here an array of characters will be created with a size 20. So this is how you have to write the realloc function. Okay, So now I'll show you an example program where we can use this realloc. Okay friends, now I'll write an example program which already creates an array with calloc, and later I will change the size of the array with realloc function and try to show you how the previous elements are unchanged and the new elements are placed in the newly created block of memory. So remember friends, we want to use any of the dynamic memory allocation functions, we need to include the header file called stdlib.h. I'm taking a variable size. Initially I am giving that value as 2. So now I will create my array. P is equals to, for casting I am using a int star calloc function, and we have to have a 2 parameters. One is the size value and another one is the size of integer. So this particular calloc function will create an array with the size 2. That means where you can store 2 values into that array. Okay, so I have already told you that whenever you are using a calloc or malloc function, you need to check whether the memory is allocated or not. For that you need to check if p is equals to null. So printf allocation error, and we need to close the program execution. So exit 0. Otherwise we'll continue with, for I equals to 0, I less than size I plus plus star of p plus I is equals to I plus 1. I am using the example statements of the previous program, that just I am placing 1 and 2. So this for loop will run for the 2 times and both the values to 1 and 2. That means here an array with size 2 will be created and p is pointed to that, index 0 and 1. So here the element 0 is 1 is placed here and 2 is placed here, because I am placing I plus 1 value. For first time 0 plus 1 is 1 value, second time 1 plus 1 is 2 is placed here. So this is what we have created. We have created an array with the size 2. Now I want to change, that means I want to increase size of my array by using realloc. So for that I am just making my size as a 5. Okay, now I want to reallocate memory. So with the syntax, how you have to write it as pointer name is equals to realloc, again the same pointer name. So here and here you have to write the both pointers. So same pointer, that is p. So p, and my new size is the size value, that is a 5. That means I have to write it as a size star size of int, because I want to create an array for 5 elements. So it should be 5 star size of integer. That means each element will take 2 bytes. So 10 bytes of space is allocated for this, and the starting address of the array is given to the p. So what happens here is, so this particular memory, maybe if the space is available here only an array will be increased. If the space is not allocated or not free here, it will allocate the entire new address. That means an array will be created here like this, where you can store all 5 elements, and the address of the first byte is given to the pointer p, that is here. So if the space is available, the next memory location, that is next 3 memory locations will be given to this, added to this. That means the entire 5 elements can be created here. If the memory is not free here, an entire new location will be taken, and there it creates an array with 5 elements. Okay, 5 elements. Now I will store the elements into the rest of the things. Already there are 2 elements that are 1 and 2. At the index is 0 and 1. Now without changing the previous 2 elements, I will store the next elements in the remaining 3 locations, that is index 2, index 3, index 4. Okay, so you can do that with this simple for loop. For I will be taken from 2, because already we have stored the values into the index 0 and 1. So I am taking the initial value as 2 now. So I less than size, that is 5, I plus plus. Now same technical use, that is a star of p plus I will be I plus 1. That means value 3, 4, 5 will be stored here, and I try to see whether I am getting all my values or not. So for that I will print all the elements. For I equals to 0, I less than size, I plus plus, printf percentage d slash n star of p plus I. Okay friends, so this particular for loop runs for the 5 times and prints all the elements from the index 0 to size minus 1, that is index from 0 to 4. Okay, so by the end of the program I have to free the memory, so I will write free of p and return 0. Okay friends, so the sample output for this particular program will be all the elements that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will get printed on the screen. If you want, you can print the 2 elements here. That means you can print the elements here for checking whether the elements are stored in this particular array or not. Okay friends, so from this particular example, what are the key points we have to observe is, we have created an array with a calloc with the size, some initial size 2, and we place the elements into this. Later I want to increase my size of the array, so I have taken the size as a 5. Okay, with the realloc function I have asked to create an array with the size 5. Okay, so I have to return it as a pointer name comma new size. The new size can be written as size star size of the data type. Okay, so here I have stored the values into this array by unchanging the previous 2 values. So the previous 2 values 1 and 2 are unchanged, and I have stored the new elements into the next 3 locations, that is index 2 to 4. Those elements are 3, 4, 5, and I want to check whether all the elements in my array are available or not. So with the for loop, so I have printed all the elements, and by the end of the program I freed the memory location. Okay friends, so this is how you have to use this realloc. Okay friends, this is an example for all the dynamic memory management functions. So where we have discussed all the malloc, calloc, realloc, and in every program we try to free the space by using the free function, because without a free function you cannot deallocate the memory assigned to an array or structure. So remember friends, at the end of every program you need to deallocate the memory using a free function. Okay, so this is information about dynamic memory allocation functions in C. Thank you.